Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Lester Zoom Headley. Today, I'm going to be talking about toxic workplaces. Toxic workplaces. Who's to blame? Who's to blame? 7 key components I'm going to be mentioning to you to start this discourse. I'm going to be looking for a toxic workplace. We have to consider the culture, the management culture, the ownership culture, because the management culture and the ownership culture are fully responsible for toxic workplace and not only the employees. The employees only have a small percentage, but an ugly company with toxic behavior comes through the management and the ownership of such a building. I'm going to be looking at the development, the pay grades, the managerial directorship, the behavioral concept. Those in all ugliness dictates the turnover, the productivity, and the culture within a toxic workplace. Never measure them by years of existence, because sometimes the longer they are in operation, the worse they get. Or sometimes they just come in and that's how they start. They only have an image there with value and vision and mission, but it's toxic, toxic. This is not the LD source by years of operation. This is by ownership and the type of management that excel within that organization. Any organization that have a lot of toxicity, negative toxicity, negative a rift in the bowels of the cultural operation. I kid you not. The selection of management is one of the key components. The ownership behavior, not the key components. How the employee, they turnover, there's stagnation. There's no proper structure for training and development. That's a toxic organization. You have people in leadership position that don't know what they're doing. They get it because of the light skin color or because they know the boss and they go to the bars, they drink, they carry gossip. That's toxic. Then who they blame? They blame the employee morale and culture. No, no, no. Don't take that bull from them. I told you where it is. Okay? A learned, sensible employee can so easily spot the idiots in the world of business, the idiots in management, the idiots in ownership. There are a lot of idiots, and it's shown by their behavior and their attitude and their disposition. Okay, the owners, they fail to address the sicko and encourage a terrible workplace. Okay, this leads to great toxicity, ugliness in the organization. But again, who are they quick to blame and look at? Employees. They don't look at themselves. They don't have a mirror image of themselves or the management that is at the top that is killing the organization. Listen carefully. It is so deeply buried in the concept and it is full of hogwash. Hogwash. Okay? Sometimes that even wash that you give no other animal would drink from that water. The workplace have a lot of toxicity within it because of the idiots that are managing it, planning, executing, and development, poor training, lack of initiatives, lack of recognition and reward, poor managerial appointments stimulate and grow all the negativity in the organization, and it is supported by the owners of the organization. Lack of initiative and insight, or having the ability to address. They only can firefight when there is a challenge. You see them buzzing around like chickens with their head cut off. They don't know the head from their tail, as we see in the Caribbean. They look stupid, and the employees, they see it and they know, as I said earlier in the discourse, ignorance when they say it. Employees know. They have too many talk shop meetings and absolutely nothing coming from the meeting. That's a sure boring thing. What comes from the meeting? Nothing is filtered down. So absolutely nothing comes from the meeting. That's why they have to firefight. That's why they have to firefight. Okay? And they're not even good at firefighting. They're poor. They're poor at firefighting. That's why they have such a high turnover. That's why they have poor wages, mental disturbances among the employees. They bother the employee. They cause sickness. When a company is going through a lot of sickness, you look at how many sick days, how many, you know, people being sick. It is the culture which they're operating in. Don't let nobody kid you. It's the culture. Huh? You're working in fear from the idiots that are walking around thinking that they can scare you. Idiots, stupid people. Okay? Reminiscent of stalemated slavery, still trying to be existed from yesterday into today's manifestation. Okay? Toxicity and control. I hate to see it. I hate to see it. Okay? Hiding behind effective words of ugliness such as diversity. Oh, I'm just doing it because of diversity. That's a hidden agenda. That's nonsense. That's hiding behind nonsense. Give the person according to their ability. Nobody should have to apply to get something to after you get in there and to see how you are working. They know your discipline. They look at your resume. They know from whence you came, the experience, and you have idiots interviewing you. That's why some people don't apply for anything, because we can't stomach the idiots that before us, sitting beside us, are trying to direct us. There are total idiots. And that is what have the place full of toxicity. Okay? A lot of racist selection, a lot of buttering up to the employee, name calling, news carrying. That's what they're like. Those things provide for a negative working environment. Those negativities impact people and people relations. You can tell an organization have toxic, carrying disdain, behavior, and attitude through the leaders and the owners of the business. They do not care about the employees. They really don't. And once you see that, and you can recognize that, you know something is wrong. It breeds high tolerance, low morale, even amongst the management. And they toe the line. Sometimes they know nonsense is happening, but they toe the line because it's survival. They stifle and confuse the staff morale all the time, every day. They, the management, are the chief culprits in confusing the workplace daily operation and process. They parade their misfittings among the staff. The poor managerial decision filter downward sometimes. The negative come down. Middle management, supervisory, that's another area of disdain. Middle management and supervisory level, people that don't have a clue. They didn't went to school, they don't have a clue, but they're in management. I tell you, I see some of them, I know some of them, okay? I'm waiting to call them out one day in a video. I'm going to call them out when the time is right in a video, okay? They are the chief cornerstone for poor management, coexisting in a toxic culture. Okay, and top management is void of what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing when they select these people and put these people in position. These guys don't have a clue just because of the color of their skin. It carried on for a lot of negative in leadership. Sadly, they're fully responsible for 77 of the toxic behavior in sports. Listen, I'm going to give you a few questions concerning toxic working environment, places of business, area of work. Why should workers or family only be promoted based on family history with that organization? 2, why should friends with benefits always accelerate in a fast-paced growing environment because of favor? Number 3, why should women who give of themselves to promote and use themselves be discarded after years of giving benefits just to succeed to rise to the top? Why should the color of skin be the main determining factor for promotion, public imaging, can be the gene because of the color of the skin? Why? Why do workers, employers have to go out to the bars so that they can easily be promoted over sensible people that can do the management training? People manage people, and people that don't have that skill set are given the position to confuse and complicate the culture? Why is it that in some toxic workplaces, rules and control huh, are for the minority and not for the majority? Huh? They change the rules to suit the color and the status. I see that also. I see that. I see that. Why is it? And I see it where people in the minority cannot use their phone, but people who are a little bit in status are using the same phone that you can't use. To me, hell, they didn't buy your phone. They didn't buy your phone. Okay? So, I can't see why there's one rule for one and one rule for the next. I think that's high hypocrisy. Okay? Why, number 7, why is it that certain positions, job, are only earmarked for skin tones, gender, and class? Why is it? Why is it? Listen, I kid you not. Toxicity in the workplaces encouraged by managers and owners of the business. I kid you not. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, keep an open mind. I'm your host, Lester Zoom Headley. I'm really, really taken aback by toxicity in the workplace. Thank you.